Imagine living on a quiet, tropical island with no predators, endless food, and absolutely zero responsibilities. No rent, no bosses, just vibes. Well, that was the dodo's life. And like many of us, when life gets too easy, things did not end well. Today, we're diving into why the dodo bird was doomed from the very beginning, long before the first humans ever set foot on its island. The story starts on Mauritius, a remote island in the Indian Ocean. For thousands of years, it was a paradise. And for the dodo, that was the problem. Nothing on that island tried to eat it, not a single thing. So, evolution looked at the dodo and thought, predators? Never heard of them. Running? Don't need it. Flying? Hard pass. Over generations, the dodo evolved to be chunky, slow, and completely flightless. Because why waste precious energy flopping your wings when all your problems are solved by simply existing?
That perfect paradise wasn't a gift. It was nature's way of setting the dodo up for the biggest loss in animal history. Its safe haven was actually a trap, slowly stripping away every instinct and ability that could have saved it. Because nothing ever hunted them, dodos had absolutely no fear. So when humans first arrived, you can imagine a dodo seeing these tall, two-legged creatures and thinking, oh, new friends. Maybe they brought snacks. Spoiler, they did not bring snacks. The birds literally walked toward the sailors like they were checking in for their own extinction appointment. Sailors hunted them not because the meat was great, many found it unpalatable, but because it was the easiest meal they'd ever find. Let's talk anatomy. The dodo weighed around 23 kilograms, basically a giant puffball with tiny, useless wings and slow, thick legs. Its entire body was built for a casual stroll, not a desperate escape. Evolution gave it everything it needed for a life of leisure and absolutely nothing that would keep it alive in the real world. If evolution had a performance review, the dodos would say, strengths, being adorable, weaknesses, literally everything else. Humans alone were bad enough, but they didn't come alone. They brought an entire cast of unwanted side characters: rats, pigs, cats, dogs, and monkeys.
These animals weren't there to make friends. They were there to eat everything. And the dodo's greatest vulnerability was its nest. See, dodos weighed their eggs on the ground, just out in the open. It was a breakfast buffet for these new invasive species. Imagine a rat stumbling upon a giant egg just lying there thinking, I don't know who put this here, but I'm not asking questions. On top of this, the new human settlers began clearing the native forests for agriculture, destroying the dodo's only home. The birds were being hunted, their young were being eaten before they could hatch, and their habitat was disappearing all at once.
Most animals that get eaten have a simple strategy: have lots of babies really fast. The dodo did not get the memo. Its entire reproductive plan hinged on laying a single egg per year. A single egg. The thinking seemed to be, what could possibly go wrong? Well, when sailors arrived on the island of Mauritius, everything went wrong. Suddenly, the island was crawling with new predators. Rats, pigs, and monkeys brought by settlers found the dodo's ground nests to be an easy meal. Trying to sustain a population with one egg a year while a demolition crew knocks it down daily, the math just doesn't work. By the time the dodo could have realized it was in danger, if it ever did, it was far too late. Its entire evolutionary playbook was written for an island paradise with no natural land predators. This bird hadn't evolved to fight. It hadn't evolved to flee. It certainly hadn't evolved to hide. It evolved to chill.
It was famously unafraid of humans, a trait that proved fatal. It's easy to call the dodo stupid, weak, or flawed, destined to fail. But that's wrong. It wasn't weak. It was perfectly, exquisitely designed for a world that, in the blink of a geological eye, completely vanished. The rules of the game changed overnight. The dodo wasn't just unlucky, it's the ultimate example of how fragile even the most successful life can be when the world it was built for is suddenly replaced by another one crashing in. Just a few decades, it was over. The dodo wasn't just hunted to extinction. It was a species perfectly adapted for a world that no longer existed. Its evolution in paradise made it trusting, slow, and defenseless. It was a creature doomed by its own good fortune. When its peaceful world was shattered by the arrival of humanity and its chaotic entourage, the dodo had no defenses, no instincts, no chance. Its story is a stark reminder that survival isn't about being the strongest or the fastest. It's about being able to adapt. And for the dodo, living in a world without problems left it completely unprepared for the day the problems finally arrived.